Hello. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the session. As part of the today's session, let us see how exactly we can install Appium on our machine. Okay, install Appium on our machine. So how are we going to do this particular activity? In order to do so, the only thing that we need to do is, if you are using a Mac, open the terminal. If you are using a Windows, open the command prompts, and in which go to the Appium official documentation, install Appium. The command that you have is npmi. So node module install globally Appium at the rate next. So this is the command that we need to paste it in the terminal. Copy this command, put it in the terminal, and hit enter button. So whenever you try to install this particular one, if you encounter any issues, certain situations, when you run this particular command, you will be encountering a couple of issues. Let me show you the issue and what exactly the solution we need to do for this particular issue. I'm going to show you right now. And this issue is precisely on a Mac. So whenever you are working on a Mac machine and if you encounter any particular issue, what is the solution that you need to implement? For suppose, when you try to do this particular installation activity, if you encounter stating that permissions are denied, if you encounter any permissions got denied, then you need to copy these three lines of a code, which is we are rewriting the permissions of a node modules, bin, and the share directory within the user's local path. This is what you need to do. After you run these three commands, then go ahead and rerun that particular command Appium install. You will see this particular message stating that Appium got installed. And how would we know whether the Appium got installed or not? Means open the command prompt after the installation, type Appium and hit enter. In order to start the server also, the only thing that you need to do is Appium itself. And when you done that particular one, welcome to Appium version 2.0 RC5 and attempting to load this particular driver. Fine, perfect. The server is up and running right now. At any point, if you want to stop this particular server, you need to use a Control C so that the server is stopped. Let me stop it. Control C, I just stopped my server. Perfectly all right. I have installed Appium. And after installing the Appium, what is going to be the next steps? So let me open these next steps here. You need to manage your drivers and as well as a plugins. In the previous session, we noticed that basically, okay, so you need to have a explicitly separated drivers for the individual instances. So that's the reason. How you need to download the drivers directly within the command prompt itself. Say Appium driver install. This particular way you can install the drivers, whether it is an UI automated tool or an XUI, whichever the one that you want. You can download it from a node package or the Appium in the official documentation itself. If you scroll down, there is an ecosystem, the Appium ecosystem. If you scroll till the bottom of this particular documentation, they have a given helper tools. In order to install this Appium, there is a helper tool, which is Appium installer helper tool. Okay, Appium installer helper tool. So here this screen gives us that what are all the various drivers available, what are all the various plugins that are available, what are all the Java clients that are available, everything they have a given here. See, basically here there is a images plugin. So this plugin is used in order to match the images. We need to install that particular plugin. So you can do it everything from the command prompt or a terminal, or you can use this Appium installer plugin. To work on this Appium installer, the only thing that you need to do is copy this line npm install -g Appium installer in the terminal. And once this Appium installer got successfully installed, then use this Appium installer to start it. So Appium installer. So I have already installed this one. That's the reason I'm not running npm install that particular chunk, but I'm launching my Appium installer right now. So whenever I launched it, see it's showing up an option. Hello Appium user, what option you want? In order to use that particular option, whichever the one you want, just select it. So I can use a down key, and whenever I select, I can use a down key, and whenever I hit this particular button, automatically this activity will be selected. Okay, automatically this activity will be selected. So what I am doing right now means Appium installer I'm doing right now. So here, need help in setting off the environment, need help in setting off the iOS environment, which one you want? I want to install Appium server, I have installed it. I want to install Appium driver. Yes, we need to install the drivers for our Appium. Hit enter. Which drivers you want? So these many drivers are available, which is XCUI test driver is there, UI Automator 2 is there, Mac is there, and all these drivers are there. If you see, select the drivers to install. The way to select the driver is choose the driver whichever you want, press the space so that will be selected. If you want to select a multiple things, scroll down, hit the space. All those things will be selected. Right now, I have a selected UI Automator and XCUI test, these two things, and a hit enter button. Automatically, it's installing. See, I got an error message. The reason is XCUI test I have already installed, and it's trying to install this UI Automator too. So you no need to run multiple commands. Basically, this will take care about, which is the Appium installer will take care about the required installations, and it will install all the desired plugins, the configuration, environment, whichever the things you want, everything will be taken care by this particular Appium installer itself. And now this installer is trying to install this particular UI Automator 2 driver. Basically, it's installing this particular driver. Okay, let it download. So this UI Automator 2 is used precisely to interact with our Android devices. Perfectly all right. So guys, I am not covering anything about how you need to install the Android Studio, how you need to set up the environmental variables on a Windows or the bash profile in a Mac. I'm not covering everything. We have a detailed session for everything. Right now, we are just looking at how exactly the 2.x features will work. That's it. Okay. Good, done the deal. So with this note, we are done with this Appium installation, followed by UI Automator driver for an Android, XCUI test driver for an iOS. We have installed it. In the next session, by looking at the documentation, we'll write down a simple code, how exactly we can write down a code that it will interact with an Android devices and as well as an iOS devices, not with the desired capabilities. Okay, done the deal. See you in the next session. Thank you.